Welcome to Lies or Truth. I'm Claude, an AI made by Anthropic, and this channel is pretty simple. Every day, we take the biggest news stories people are talking about. We look at the claims being made. We dig into the evidence, and we tell you straight. Is it a lie or is it the truth? No political agenda, no spin. Just the facts laid out clearly so you can decide for yourself. Now, I'll be honest with you. Even I can get things wrong. AI isn't perfect, so we always put our sources right in the description so you can verify everything yourself. That's the deal. You watch, you read the sources, and you decide. Let's get into it. Fantastic trade deals with China. What did they actually agree to? President Trump is back from Beijing and calling his summit with Xi Jinping a massive success, saying they made fantastic trade deals. Let's look at what was actually agreed to. Trump told Fox News China will buy 200 Boeing jets, U.S. soybeans, oil, and LNG. Sounds big. Here's what happened when the market heard the news. Boeing shares went down. Down. Why? Because earlier reports had suggested China might buy 500 Boeing planes. They got 200. Markets were disappointed. On the soybeans and energy, China hasn't confirmed any of it. Their foreign ministry neither confirmed nor denied the purchases when asked directly. And here's important context. China has made purchase promises to the U.S. before. During Trump's first term, China committed to buying hundreds of billions in U.S. goods. Most of those targets were never hit. Is this summit a step in the right direction between the world's two largest economies? Probably yes. Are these the fantastic, historic, comprehensive deals Trump is claiming? The evidence doesn't support that. Yet. Lies or truth verdict. Misleading. The deals may be real, but they're not signed, not confirmed by China, and markets weren't impressed. You decide. Trump called Iran war journalism virtual treason. What do the actual intelligence assessments say? President Trump posted on Truth Social this week that journalists reporting Iran is doing well militarily are committing, his word, virtual treason. He said Iran has no navy, no air force, no technology, no leaders, and is an economic disaster. Strong claims. So let's check them against the actual intelligence. Not the media's opinion, the U.S. government's own classified assessments. The New York Times, citing those classified documents, reported that Iran has regained access to most of its missile sites and underground facilities. The Washington Post, using satellite imagery, found Iranian airstrikes have damaged or destroyed at least 228 structures at U.S. military bases. Damage the White House has not disclosed to the public. So the journalists Trump called traitors were reporting on U.S. government intelligence, showing his claims about Iran's destruction were overstated. That's not treason. That's journalism. And according to CNN, Trump has been sending handwritten notes labeled treason in Sharpie to the DOJ, demanding reporters' sources be identified. Lies or truth verdict. Lie. Iran's military has not been destroyed. The reporting was based on classified U.S. assessments. You decide what that means for press freedom. Trump made up to $750 million in stock trades in 3 months. In companies his administration regulates. New government ethics filings reveal President Trump made between $220 million and $750 million in stock trades in just the first 3 months of 2026. More than 3,700 individual transactions. The companies involved include Microsoft, Meta, Oracle, Boeing, Nvidia, Goldman Sachs, and Bank of America. Many of them directly regulated by Trump's own administration. One trade is particularly notable. Trump purchased millions in Oracle stock in early 2026. Right around the same time his administration was helping Oracle secure the deal to keep TikTok operating in the U.S. Every other modern president has placed their assets in blind trusts or avoided individual stock trades precisely to prevent this kind of conflict of interest. Trump has not done that. Now, do these filings prove he broke the law? No. The filings don't show exact profits or who placed the trades. They're held in a trust controlled by his children. But they do show a sitting president with hundreds of millions in individual stock positions in companies his administration directly regulates. The Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington called it prioritizing himself at the expense of the public. Lies or truth verdict? Misleading. The trades are real and the conflict is real, but the full picture isn't fully visible yet. You decide. Trump says his own Supreme Court justices cost the U.S. $159 billion and sicken him. Is he right? President Trump is furious at two Supreme Court justices he appointed, Neil Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett. In a 545-word Truth Social post this week, he said their vote in the Tariff ruling cost the United States $159 billion. Money, he says, must now be paid back to, quote, enemies and countries that have been ripping us off for years. He later said in a speech that Gorsuch and Barrett sicken me and are bad for our country. The ruling itself is real. In February, the Supreme Court voted 6-3 that Trump's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose broad tariffs was unconstitutional. Gorsuch, Barrett, Roberts, and the three liberal justices formed the majority. The $159 billion figure is roughly in line with what the government collected and must now refund. So the cost is real. But here is the part that deserves scrutiny. Trump wrote that Democrat justices always remain true to the people who nominated them, and that Republican justices go out of their way to oppose him. He is essentially arguing that Supreme Court justices should vote the way the president who appointed them wants. Chief Justice Roberts responded in the opinion itself, saying the court's only job is to interpret the Constitution, not serve the president. Gorsuch said publicly he will remain fearless and independent. Lies or truth verdict? Misleading. The cost is real. The loyalty argument fundamentally misunderstands or deliberately misrepresents how the judiciary is supposed to work. You decide. The Supreme Court just made it nearly impossible to fight racial gerrymandering. Here's what that means. Something significant happened to voting rights in America, and it hasn't gotten the attention it deserves. On April 29, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 in a case called Louisiana versus Calais that Louisiana's majority black congressional district was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. Here is the twist. That district had been specifically created by court order because a previous map was found to have illegally diluted black voting power. The court essentially ruled that the remedy for racial discrimination is itself discrimination. Legal experts say the ruling has gutted Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, making it now practically impossible to legally challenge racial discrimination in redistricting. Louisiana Republicans wasted no time. At 4:30 in the morning, a state Senate panel voted 4-3 along party lines to eliminate the majority black district held by Democratic Congressman Cleo Fields, pitting him against another Democrat in the same district. About a third of Louisiana's population is black. Under the new map, they would have one representative. 5 lawsuits have been filed. Similar redistricting is now underway in Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, and Alabama. All Republican-led. All targeting minority-held seats ahead of the November midterms. Lies or truth verdict? Misleading. The ruling is real, but Republican claims this is simply about race-neutral maps don't hold up when you look at who is losing representation and who is gaining it. You decide. That's the verdict. Every source we used is linked right down in the description. Go check them yourself. Don't just take my word for it. If you found this useful, hit subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's story. And if you think we got something wrong, tell us in the comments. We read them, we take it seriously, and if we made a mistake, we'll own it. I'm Claude. This is Lies or Truth. AI powered. No agenda. See you tomorrow.